When audiences first watched District 9 in 2009, many were shocked by how real the alien world felt. Unlike most sci-fi movies that rely on glossy visuals and futuristic environments, this film felt raw, grounded, and disturbingly believable. The aliens didn't arrive as powerful invaders, they were stranded refugees, forced to live inside a crowded slum on Earth. But behind the scenes, director Neil Blomkamp used a clever mix of practical filmmaking and cutting-edge visual effects to create that realism. And in today's video, we're going deep into the making of District 9. One of the most fascinating aspects of District 9 is how believable the alien population feels inside the slum area known as District 9. When Vicus enters the alien settlement, the screen is filled with dozens of prawn aliens walking around, interacting with humans, arguing with each other, and living in the crowded camp. Watching the scene, it genuinely feels as if these alien creatures were physically present on set. But in reality, there were no aliens there during filming. To create this illusion, director Neil Blomkamp used a clever combination of practical acting and advanced visual effects. During production, the aliens were represented by human performers wearing simple gray bodysuits. These performers stood where the aliens were supposed to be and acted out the movements and body language of the creatures during each scene. This method allowed the real actors to understand exactly where the aliens were standing, how tall they were, and how their interactions should play out in the environment. Later in post-production, the visual effects team at Image Engine Design digitally removed the performers and replaced them with fully animated CGI alien characters. The design of the prawns was another crucial part of the process. Their appearance was developed by the creature design specialist at Weta Workshop. Director Neil Blomkamp didn't want the aliens to look like traditional movie monsters. Instead, he wanted them to feel strange and unfamiliar, while still capable of showing emotion. To achieve this, the artist took inspiration from insects and crustaceans, which is why the aliens have segmented bodies, long limbs, and hard exoskeleton plates covering their skin. At the same time, the designers gave them expressive eyes and subtle facial movements, allowing the creatures to communicate emotions during close-up scenes. Interestingly, the filmmakers didn't rely heavily on traditional motion capture. Instead, they used a technique known as rotomation. First, the live-action scene was filmed with human performers acting as the aliens. Then the VFX artists studied those movements and recreated them frame by frame in CGI, carefully animating the digital alien characters to match the performers' body language. This process allowed the aliens to feel grounded and naturally integrated into the real environment. In some cases, however, there were no performers used at all. For example, the small alien child belonging to the character Christopher Johnson was created entirely using CGI. In behind-the-scenes footage, you can see that the baby alien was never physically present during filming. Instead, the animators designed and animated the character completely inside the computer, and later composited it into the scene during post-production. Some scenes in District 9 show hundreds of aliens filling the camp, and creating that illusion required a clever crowd generation technique. Aliens closest to the camera were built using highly detailed 3D models with complex textures and animation. Aliens positioned farther away used simplified digital models, which required less computing power, and those appearing very far in the background were sometimes represented by low-detail animated models, or simple digital cards. By combining these different layers together, the filmmakers were able to create the illusion that the entire District 9 camp was filled with alien refugees. What makes this achievement even more impressive is that the film was produced with a relatively modest budget. Yet thanks to smart visual effects planning, the alien world feels incredibly realistic. The final battle in District 9 is filled with intense action moments, including powerful explosions, massive destruction, and chaotic firefights. However, many of these explosive scenes were not created using CGI alone. Instead, the filmmakers combined practical pyrotechnics with digital visual effects to achieve a much more realistic result. During filming in South Africa, the production team used controlled explosives on real locations. These practical blasts allowed real dust, smoke, and debris to shoot into the air, creating natural physics that would be difficult to replicate with CGI alone. For fire sequences, the crew used real liquid fuel flamethrowers, producing genuine bursts of flame on set. To simulate explosive impacts hitting the ground, the special effects team also used large air mortars, which are essentially pneumatic tanks filled with high-pressure air. When triggered, these devices launch dirt, debris, and a special powder called Fuller's Earth high into the air. This created the illusion of a powerful explosion without actually using dangerous amounts of explosives. One of the most exciting moments in District 9 happens during the film's climax, when Vicus climbs inside a powerful alien exosuit combat robot and uses it to fight against the soldiers. On screen, the robot appears massive and incredibly detailed as it fires heavy weapons and moves between buildings, crushing everything in its path. It looks so realistic that many viewers assume there must have been a large mechanical prop on set. But surprisingly, no physical robot existed during filming. Director Neil Blomkamp created the entire sequence using live-action footage combined with advanced CGI. When the scenes were filmed, the actors were simply performing in empty space, reacting to something that wasn't physically there. The camera operators used handheld cameras to capture the action, which gave the footage a documentary-style realism that perfectly matched the film's gritty visual style. Later, the visual effects studios, the Embassy Visual Effects, and Image Engine Design digitally inserted the alien robot into those shots during post-production. The design of the robot was carefully crafted to reflect alien technology rather than human engineering. The artists wanted the machine to look completely different from typical military robots. To achieve this, they incorporated insect-inspired shapes and curved mechanical structures, making the exosuit feel like it belonged to the same alien species as the prawns. During production, artists first created a detailed 3D model of the robot, including its armor plates, weapons, and mechanical joints. The model was then rigged, meaning a digital skeleton system was added, so that the arms, legs, and weapons could move realistically. When animating the robot, the artist paid close attention to weight and physical presence. Every moment was carefully animated to make the machine feel heavy and powerful. For example, when the robot walks, its steps appear slow and forceful, as if a massive metal structure is pressing down onto the ground with enormous weight. These subtle animation details help sell the illusion that the giant alien machine truly exists within the real environment. What makes District 9 so impressive is that most of its world wasn't created with massive Hollywood budgets. Instead, director Neil Blomkamp and his team relied on creativity, smart visual effects techniques, and practical filmmaking. If you enjoy discovering these behind-the-scenes secrets of this movie, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into how iconic films were actually made. And before you go, tell me in the comments, which movies behind the scenes should we explore next?